these dudes shirtless?
I know, it's so weird.
This dude's Jack.
All right.
Oh, I see your other one that was there.
We got Father Tren in the background.
All right, let's get. Let me erase this so you don't see. We don't get ahead of ourselves.
Subscribe.
Where is this? Oh, live. How do you get the live?
Isn't the live on there?
No. Oh wait, you have to click on his thing and then hit live.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Good
our
job.
bad. Good job, Tommy.
And then it says it's live right now.
All right.
Oh.
Gilbert Ryle, Descartes Myth.
Gilbert's Gizzards.
You're watching. You're all like it live.
All right. Is everybody on? Is there anybody who needs help? All right, so shut off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Carroll College Philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Class. Everybody say, give a round of applause. We will be doing Philosophy of Mind and Gilbert Ryle's article. For those of you guys that have tuned into the other one, we'll do the same lecture. But this lecture is even what?
Better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very lively. The first one was kind of a beta test. This is for real this time. Okay, so who do we have in the chat? Why don't you guys go ahead and say hi or something, and let's get this going.
How do you get the chat?
Hello.
Let's see if you have access to.
Oh, no. What did I do? All you have to do is.
Oh, yeah.
Just have a Google. If you have a Google, use log on YouTube. Well, it's super easy.
Got it.
That's
awesome.
It kicks me out.
Who's David Thompson?
Am I gonna get these recommended?
I don't know.
I'm David Guy.
What? I don't know. You have to. If you don't have your own channel, you have to create one to be able to chat. I don't know. It's just the rules.
Recovery updated.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh.
Okay.
Steroids.
We are doing philosophy of mind. Look at this. And we all know the mind is an apple from this picture. Did you ever do this when you were a kid? You were like, I don't need to read, I'll just look at the cover. And basically, if you did that with this, you start thinking that actually minds were simply just green apples, which is not true.
There's probably a lot more to that cover than you're leading.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Did you walk this
Philosophy of mind. Who did we leave off with last time? Descartes. Now Descartes leaves us and leads us into philosophy of mind. Now, Gilbert Ryle's articles, Descartes Myth. So let's just summarize. What did Descartes leave us with? He says, you are a what? Mind. Mind is an immaterial soul. That's what you are. A thinking thing. A mind. You are not a body, according to Descartes. That was something that he concluded after he discovered, supposedly, that he's a thinking thing. He knows his thoughts as they're immediately present before him, etc. So, but then he eventually, by providing the ontological arguments for the existence of God, supposedly establishes God exists, and therefore God wouldn't allow us to be deceived about the physical world, and then establishes a physical world. So you're not a body according to Descartes, you are an immaterial soul or mind that's attached to a body. What is a body? It's a physical substance. And if you had to describe what are physical or material substances, what would you say? Now, this is kind of outlined in Gilbert Ryle's article. Name some qualities about physical substances. Look around the room.
You can feel them.
You can feel them. They're sensible, right? Which is see,
Feel them.
smell. Okay. Sensible. And what he said was extended in space. Look at your desk and computers. They extend through space, correct?
Yeah.
And you can measure it. They're measurable. And the type of, or the way that you would measure it would be quantity, i.e. number. Measure this length of this book, weigh it, etc. Which all kind of goes with the fact that these are accessible to your senses. One other thing, they're public. What is public? Yeah. Everyone. Third person point of view. Publicly accessible. Do you see a book here, kids? Yes, we do see a book. What did you just do? Because it's something sensible, it's extended in space, it's publicly accessible, and we all affirmed it. Everybody get me on that? So we get some ideas about. Also, it seems to be subject to the laws of physics, correct? Subject of physics and mechanics. Got it. How many people do we have in here? 22. Let's get those numbers up. Hello again, Bill Hicks. All right. What about the immaterial soul, the mind? Well, what did we notice here? Material, what's this prefix? Not material. Not those things. So, immaterial things are not sensible. Not extended in space. Not, and I'll give examples of this, not quantitative. Not third person point of view, but what? First person point of view. Not subject to the laws of mechanics and physics. Let's look at this. We'll just go down the line. Not sensible. I'm having a thought of a triangle. Why? Because in philosophy, we love triangles, if you haven't noticed, correct? Yes. We should have t-shirts that say that. I'm a philosopher, and I love triangles.
I don't like to have the Carol, like, the science or chemistry department, like the department shirts.
Yeah, we should have, absolutely. Think of some ideas. Maybe I'll give you an assignment of what could we make for our philosophy department as far as merch. Merch. I can't. All right. What's that? Clip-on beard. Yes.
Oh my God.
You are awarded your participation points for today. The beanies?
I think we should have.
No, you gotta have the one that's, it's not a clip-on,
beanie with the
but it
clip-on
has
beard.
the,
I have one of those.
yeah, it'll just, and then everybody will come in and I wear, and you all look like me. That's a wonderful dream. One student, for Christmas, you know what they got me? This is clip-on Christmas bulbs.
It's actually kind of
Isn't
awesome.
that cool? Now, if they lit up, that would be even
Can we
nice.
tinsel your beard?
We should do this the last day. We'll decorate the beard for our last day of class. What say you in the chat? Does anybody say we vote for decorating Father Deacon Amnias' FDA's beard for Christmas?
Yep.
Okay.
It's unanimous.
Okay, moving back to my triangle thought. I'm thinking about a triangle. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Does it smell?
No. I hope not.
My thought of a triangle. Oh, what's that smell?
Oh, it's
Oh, it's the professor's thinking of a triangle again.
damn things.
No, it's not sensible. Ew, gross. What's that? Yeah. Hold on a second. Private property. Anybody found trespassing in my thoughts will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
You just trying that
Carroll College philosophy.
triangles.
That would be a cool. Sure. Anybody trespassing my
You and the
unauthorized trespassing in my private property thoughts will be refuted to the full extent of logic. Okay, I'm thinking of a triangle. I'm going to let you do on the last day of class, after you decorate my beard, brain surgery on me. I trust now that we have the internet, everybody could become experts in brain surgery, right? That's what I'm told. We have the internet now and we don't need school and mentorships and interns. We can just look things up on the internet and do brain surgery. And I'll be the first to allow you to do this. We'll live stream it. When I'm thinking about a triangle, you're doing brain surgery. Does the thought of triangle form in does it occupy space? Do I get a triangle in my brain? Now, certain regions might be activated. I might be pulling using my engine, right? My brain. But it's not like, whoa, look how much space that's occupying in his brain. Better not think about a square. You are a square. It doesn't occupy, it's not extended. Thoughts are not extended through space. Mind doesn't extend through space. It might use physical organs, but it doesn't occupy space. Has anybody tried to weigh their thoughts?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, but not in the sense of like 50 pounds. Now, I know, do you remember like in the 60s? Remember when we were in the 60s? Remember the movies about the 60s, hippie guy. Oh, man. Oh, that thought is heavy.
How was you?
Not that old. Obviously, that's a metaphor. It's supposed to be intensity, right? So, like old hippie dudes like, oh man, that thought is really heavy. They don't mean that it's like, really? You mean you weighed it and it's 75 pounds? Now, I supposedly there's some people that can't get metaphors. You know that? They're very literal. Wasn't somebody Age of Ultron? What's the big the movie's The Age of Ultron? I think was in what's the Age of Ultron? The Avengers?
Yeah.
What's the big dude?
Oh.
Thanos? Hulk?
What's that?
Hulk?
Not Hulk.
Thanos?
Thanos. Isn't it true that Thanos can't get metaphors, like he's super literal? Isn't that Thanos?
Drax.
Drax. See, you can hear.
It was
Guardians of
Drax.
the Galaxy.
Thanos.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right. Excuse me. It was
Thanos
my
was
fault. I
all
misled
Force.
you. Thanos wouldn't. Drax wouldn't get that because he takes everything too literal. He would think saying the thought is heavy means it weighs 75 pounds or something like that.
He has a thoughts.
But what we have is thoughts are not quantitative. If we talk about thoughts being heavy, we mean the quality, the intensity of a thought. We can speak that way. So there is kind of a way that we can, there is some sort of kind of measurability in the sense of more or less, intense, more false, more true, stuff like that. But that's not quantitative, that's typically qualitative, not third person point of view. Why? Because you, the subject, the first person, your thoughts are a private state of affairs. Okay, let's work this out. What do we mean by first person point of view? You as your point of view. You as you. Now, why can't, that's what is private. Your life as your life. Your mental life is your mental life. And I have no access to it. Well, what if you just switch bodies? We know those movies, Freaky Friday, Trading Places. Is there another movie?
Switching places? Like people switch lives.
Yeah, you switch. Like we make a science machine, and we'll put like the science machine hat on yours, and we'll be like, and then we switch. Is that creepy? Oh! What happens? The problem is I still don't know your thoughts because I'm me in your body. I can never be you as you. It'll always be me trying to experience you. I can never get out of the meanness. And therefore, I never have that first person access, you as you. We'll talk, there's articles that are really kind of cool later on in Philosophy of Mind, what it's like to be a bat. Is just see what other ones we have. Let me look in the table of contents and see what they're giving us to. Okay. What Mary didn't know, they took this one out. Thomas Nagel, What It's Like to Be a Bat. Is that in your book? Whatever, I'll run you through it later. But it plays up on that. So your mental life is private, it's first person, and it's not subject to the laws of physics. We'll talk about it, Gilbert Ryle. All right, is everybody following me so far? Anybody in the chat?
No.
There's someone in here from Arizona.
Someone from Arizona?
Whoa.
Where?
What's Jaden doing?
Look at the last one.
Like literally
Second
the
to
last.
last.
Big call.
Oh, cool. Maricopa, Arizona. Maricopa's a county, right? Okay.
There's 25 blocks.
Gilbert Ryle. Gilbert Ryle and Descartes Myth. So supposedly everything that we've been told about Descartes, a myth. Not true. No, we made this one. What was our Jonathan Frack? False. Not this time. We made this one up. Not even close. Descartes. It's called the official doctrine, i.e. normie. Normie. Who hasn't heard that term normie? So that I have to explain it and break it down philosophically into
Break it
its
down for us.
etymology and
Break
history.
it down
Of,
for us.
raise your hand if you haven't heard normie. It's amazing that I know your own Zoomer language better than you do yourselves. Don't you find that kind of odd?
No.
It's actually.
You're in the Z generation, correct? Is there anybody not in the Z generation?
When does it start?
When did it end?
Oh, I don't know. That's a great point. When does it end? It ends tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Dang it.
We'll no longer be a Z
Is it
generation.
actually our language, we don't know it, but you do? Or are you just telling us it is?
That's a great philosophical question. Let's repeat it for. Is it really our language if we don't know it and I'm telling you that what your language is?
It's late 90s to early 2000s.
I don't know. Are you a typical sample? Bye-bye. We'll see you Tuesday. Live, online, Patristic Faith. Are you an accurate sample of your generation?
Yeah.
Maybe not. What are you doing with your What are you doing with your Zoomer lives? Okay, we're zooming. We're actually zooming in. Okay, normie, which derives from the word normal. Do you like to be normal? Would you be offended if somebody's like, you're so normal? I like to be considered unique, just like everybody else.
That's normal with us.
What do you consider normal?
Average. Like, take a sample of people in our town and be like, you're just average. You're like, you know what? You're unique, just like everybody else. Does that feel good? I want to stand out. I want to stand out and. All right. So this is funny. Pineal country. We'll get to that later. I want to be special, not special in the wrong way, but special in a good way. Correct? What I don't want to do is be a run-of-the-mill, just like everybody else, normal herd, right? Oh, they're just part of the herd. I don't want to be a NPC. What is that? Yeah, and what is it we all know about a non-player character? They don't do anything. They look like all other non-playable characters, right? They're all gray, and they just do the. Yeah, that was a great one. You want to have unique fixtures that. No, I'm different in a good way. Correct? Millennial splaining. That's a good.
Yes.
I'm millennial splaining. Okay. It's what everybody believes. Yes.
Generation X or
I am a Generation X.
Ooh.
I'm the good. I am the uncriticizable generation. You ever notice that? We're the ones that everybody just leaves alone for some reason. Everybody likes to attack boomers. Everybody's got the criticism of millennials.
You're next.
But not the Generation X, which I hope is not because we're the forgettable generation that nobody looks at.
Might be.
Haven't really done a lot.
I'm sorry.
We're alive in any wars.
You didn't know this was Generation X? So supposedly it starts at like 1980. It ends at 1980. I mean, it's debatable, but I'm 77, so I'm. Can you believe how,
Hardcore.
can you believe how old I am?
Mine was like maybe like 42.
It's 40.
47.
39.
I literally guessed your age the first time.
You
I
did.
was so proud of myself.
What's that?
My mom's almost 60. I thought she was a millennial.
No.
Or a boomer. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. I think so.
I don't know. 60, is it 65 when
Not this
65 to 80?
Yeah.
It's Gen X. Okay. What everybody believes, the normies. And what is that? What is it that with regards to this everybody believes? Yes. I have a mind and a body. He says, with the exception of idiots and infants, everybody. He says that.
Who are you quoting?
Gilbert Ryle, our homework.
Why are you doing it in that voice?
Is it a voice? I don't know. I'll have to go back and think about why I do it in voices.
No, it's true.
Okay. Idiots and infants, probably the only ones that don't. And he defines what we mean by bodies: sensible, extended in space, measurable, quantitative, public, third-person point of view, subject to the laws of physics. Did I summarize that okay? Mind, the opposite. Now, if you remember back, I gave you, what's an analogy? I have two things that are different, A and B. A is not equal to B. An analogy is a type of relation. Well, does anybody remember the two examples that I gave? Two things that are not alike, but share something in common. It's like a flux capacitor, doesn't it?
I'm gonna use that.
Yes. Dads and rocks. My dad is a rock. And then from the Avengers says, no, he's not, because he takes everything literal. No, it's an analogy. Oh, what's an analogy? Two things that are different that share something in common. Why is it that my dad obviously is not literally a rock, but what do they share in common? Thank God my parents don't watch my live streams. They can be stable. He's an immovable force, hard-headed, and can be used to smash things. I don't know. Whatever, fill in the blank. But you get the idea. It's like, oh, it's an analogy. Okay. And they have this truck commercials, like a rock. Remember? You never seen the?
I don't remember what generation we are.
I thought they still play it. Maybe they don't. All right. Fair enough.
Moral meerkat must know what it is. My dad is the rock.
My dad is the rock.
We're gonna get computers.
Yeah.
Like.
What's that?
I said we're gonna get
Okay, good. Let's get those numbers up.
computers.
Don't worry.
Okay, so I was able to relate A is to C as C is to B. So I can relate these two by the mean portion between. I can only relate A and B in virtue that they share that mean proportional. My dad is Dwayne Johnson.
He lifted today too. He lifted today.
Okay, that is. Well played. See, isn't this good? That the class can interact with the debate. I might be the first professor in all of human history that's actually done this, right? That you, the students, get to actually engage in debate with the online world.
There's not really a lot of debate. It's just people think that their dad is the wrong.
I know. You guys got to step it up.
Dwayne the Rock?
All right. All right.
My dad's way too fat to be Dwayne the Rock.
Now that is a logical relation. What are you guys doing?
Hers is all warm.
My idea is insanely warm.
So
All
we're
right, well,
comparing.
let's do it after class. Let's talk about the philosophy of warm ideas.
We were just talking about your
Ideas.
beard being tinselled and having light bulbs.
Okay. That's a logical relation. There's other types of relations too, causal relations.
I wanna go to this box.
The cue ball hits the 8-ball into the corner pocket, and I guess in this logical world, 8 balls are actually red and not black. Isn't that funny? Wouldn't that be weird if you guys could think about a logically possible world in which all the color of the balls are inverted? In which case the black ball, 8 ball is red. All right, it's just because I didn't use the black marker. So I know that I can use the cue ball, right? Even though they're different. Why? They're different colors, right? And they have different functions or something like that. But I can have the cue ball hit and be a cause of the motion of the 8 ball, correct? Cause and effect. So that's a type of relation. A cause relates to an effect. Okay, two different things, A and B. What do they share in common such that they can be related causally?
One's a cause and one's an effect.
Okay, but that's different. What is it that they have in common though? Causes are not effects. So
But you need it.
this is also, this looks different than that, but they're what? They're similar in shape, weight, they're physical, right? List all the properties theirs. Okay, color is different. The roles they play might be different, but they're the same. So that's cool. I can relate A and B together causally. Why? Because they're physical. Now, what happens if this is a ghost ball? It died. And all that's left is just a ghostly image of what once was. Can you still play pool? Can ghost balls hit 8 balls into the corner pockets or any pocket? There's nothing by which I can relate them to anymore. RIP. Rest in peace. Cue ball. Well, we've got an issue like that. So this is what's going to form the mind-body problem. Not only do I not know how to talk about them logically, which is really kind of what we're going to talk about Gilbert Ryle's article, Descartes Myth, today. What we'll see in later classes is I have no way of causally relating them. He comes up with a sort of kind of derogatory term called ghost in the machine. What's the machine? Physical things are machines. If you are immaterial soul, if that's what a mind is, and it's the opposite by which you have nothing to relate that by, how is your mind the ghost pulling the parts of the machine? How's it causing? We've got a problem. What is it? A mind-body problem. All right. So far, so good? Also, I forgot another one. Outer, inner. I didn't explore this. Why isn't my mind subject to the laws of physics? So if I put something in motion, the physical that touches another thing physical, right? What is going on? How do I describe motion when we talked about this in other classes? Suppose this isn't a ghost ball. What is a physical thing? It's something that's extended in space. Space 1, right, comes in contact with space 2, correct? Which is moved into what? Space 3. And I can develop a whole physics and mechanics of physical objects in motion. Why? Because physical things are extended through space, etc. Fill in all the different things. So that means that the laws of motion, i.e. mechanics, are all physical things are subject to those in the same way. Can my thoughts transfer across space? He says, with the exception, and we probably wouldn't believe this, in telekinesis. What's that? What's telekinesis? No. What am I doing?
Do you believe that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
think so.
Telekinesis, I'm transferring my thoughts into your mind across space. I think most of us don't believe that, right? Also, can my thoughts move stuff just by... We know that as occultism, right? If I started moving stuff like this, just through like my mind going through my hands, look at, I'm actually moving you into your
Whoa.
seat. Isn't that crazy?
That is actually wild.
Would any of you believe that's actually?
Yeah.
I believed it because I felt it.
What was that? There was this like toy ball when I was a kid, and it looked like it was floating in your hand. You're like moving around. It was like a commercial.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's and like you like little tricks.
I've never seen a back
Called
move like that.
sorcery, and it's from the devil.
It's a fushigi.
Yeah.
Sorcery.
Yeah. What?
You moving like
Fushigi ball.
I got moves like Jagger.
All right, the term occult,
that. I'm the best friend.
like Ouija boards and doing stuff like that, and Carrie,
Like carry the like.
remember, she's like,
Carry the boat?
like everything starts like fall, right? Her thoughts are moving stuff, right? That's like possession and occultism, right? Nobody's like, my God, look at that science. It's so scientific, right? It'd be like the person's messing around with the occult.
Wow.
Science, within the sensible physical world, things, subject. Oops, I got these backwards here. This is supposed to be inner, outer.
I'm not going like this.
We understand that science operates in this level, right? The physical world that's subject and described by the laws of mechanics and physics. So if you're not doing that, if you're moving objects by your thoughts, or right, you would call that occultism, right? Okay. So he's saying basically, in other words, most of us understand that thoughts don't do that. Mind is something categorically different than the physical world. And what I have here is opposites. Mind and body are opposites. A and B cannot be related because there's nothing to relate them by. When it's opposites, if that's how you define opposites. Okay? So far, so good? Now let's look at the statement. But I have a mind and a body. He's going to say that's a category error. Categories. So before we get into the physical causation, stuff like that, let's just go into what is a category? Well, there's different categories. There's things that you smell, correct? Taste, see, there's actions, there's affections, there's time. We can keep going down the list, but those are all different categories, right? Things that I smell. This is like a Jeopardy game. I'll take things that you can smell for 500. You're like, no, you should have took actions for 300. See you Tuesday. Tuesday?
Just give me back.
God bless. Could you do me a favor? Send me an email to remind me your participation points, and I'll go back in and enter those in. Bye-bye. Okay. Does everybody get me? Those are different categories, correct? Now, I'm going to illustrate what a category error is. I know that our teachers back in the day used to tell us there's no such thing as a dumb question. Do you think that's true today?
No.
Have you ever experienced a dumb question?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then I give an illustration of a dumb question. How fast does what? Blue smell running
On a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
on Tuesday?
Well, man, that thought so heavy.
No, it's that ganjas.
It's like people that come up with that either hit their head or they're on drugs, and that's why the old hippie boomer says,
Well, it's so heavy.
I've got different categories here. I have speed. Rate of speed is a category. Fast, here. Blue, color. Smell, running, and time. All mixed up in a big word salad. You just mixed all your categories. You can't smell colors unless you're on drugs or you something going wrong neurologically, which is basically right. That's called synesthesia. We start mixing your categories. I smelled blue and I tasted sound. Like, wow, you're
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot, or you just took a bunch of psychedelics and on drugs. And either way, you're going to jail or the loony bin. Okay, category. So simply because you can make a question grammatically and string a bunch of words together doesn't mean that it's sensical, let alone true. He's going to say there's something going on like that with this, and there's many different types of categories that we can errors that we can make. Typically, a lot of fallacies are category errors. One that I gave for last class was the question, and I need to know this. I need you to talk serious to me now. Okay? Everybody ready? Have you stopped cheating on your quizzes?
Oh, no.
Get out. This guy, he's not a quitter, right? He's just going to commit the crimes until the day he dies, till the break of dawn.
Did you tell us it was open out though? So,
Yeah,
so it's not
that's-
cheating if you give us.
Yeah.
How do you? That's a great question.
There's no way to cheat on quizzes.
Is there a way to cheat if I give you open book, open note.
Well, we could go to like into your computer and like change our grade manually. That'd be probably cheating. But besides that,
It's like open
That's
note
a
is the
little
notes
too
that you
specific.
take.
Okay, yeah, if you fail one where it's like open note and at home where you can look it up, you deserve to fail.
See, but that's cheating. When you look it up, you're
No, it's not.
cheating because
No, it's not.
my notebook's online.
Yeah.
your notes is what you
Now,
write down.
I'll tell you what cheating is. If you take the quiz together,
Okay.
holding hands.
So if we're not holding
So we're
hands-
not holding
If
hands.
you're not
It's
holding
chill.
hands, it's not cheating. See how that works?
Damn it, Tommy.
And that's logic.
John and I cheat like every day.
Because that would be cheating. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone's like Siamese twins, are they cheating?
Ooh.
That's the real question. you should ask.
Also, will they get 2 different grades or the same grade?
Where they can join. Where they can join.
I award you half points.
Would you put down 2
Yeah,
different
that's not holding hands.
They have separate brains. Oh, and you'd have to like put a partition. Like,
One of the little like folders from the first grade.
they're cheating.
Stop looking at my test.
That makes a great skit. The cheating Siamese twins. You share the same brain.
Hey, we can have
What?
that
You
online.
can be TikTok famous if you do it.
We gotta get that off of the live. They're gonna steal our idea.
TikTok's banned in Montana. You know that?
Yeah.
Not yet?
I don't
I don't think so.
think so.
I think it's
downloaded it.
Oh, wow.
We're illegal.
You could also.
No, not gonna see that.
Montana.
Oh, John. John said something.
No,
Do you guys still use TikTok?
Yeah.
You can change
Do you need to go to TikTok's Anonymous?
Yes.
Has your life become unmanageable because of TikTok?
Yes.
We can-
Honestly, kind of. That app takes so much
Along with a
time.
whole bunch of other bills.
TA,
I was gonna watch one. and then
TikTok Anonymous.
An hour goes by.
Hi, I'm a TikTok abuser. My life's become unmanageable. And we're gonna have to have. All right.
Because the Chinese government's gonna get our information.
I thought it was American only.
All right, back off my ADD tangent.
We tried to buy it and China was like, yeah, that's not enough.
Category errors.
It probably wasn't.
I used, have you stopped cheating on your quizzes? You answered no, because once a cheater, always a cheater. Yes.
When you say like, your question is kind of broad, have you stopped cheating, but you know that I'm cheating in the first place? So that would be like, how would you?
Bingo.
Yeah, exactly. I was never cheating.
Yeah,
in the
why'd
first
you
place.
ask yourself?
Because you set it up such that you're danged if you do, you're danged if you don't.
Yeah.
If you say yes, then I got you because you admitted. Like a cop could do this, right? Why were you speeding? Or trying to think about how I could do this if I were a cop.
You know how
I could trap
Ask how
somebody
fast you're
using logical category errors. I would do this.
Like every time they pull you over, they're like, "Do you know how?" fast
Did you
you're
know
going?"
that? Yeah.
Don't answer
Yeah,
the
I don't-
question.
That's a trick question.
Yes.
Have them do
There
it.
was like this like one video where a cop pulled over someone for like drunk driving and so they did a sobriety test. And the cop made them do a bunch of different like dances and everything. And then he asked if he was drunk. He's like no. And then later after doing all those little fun dances, like ball change and all that, asked where he learned it and he said I'm drunk. Like,
Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm a dancer.
I'm just drunk right now. He's like, ah, so you're under arrest.
That's
You
a-
guys
I need
do realize
you
that video
to
is
do
fake.
the alphabet backwards. And he says, I couldn't even do that if I was sober. Going to jail. All right, going back to yes.
Like, can you say that?
Hold on, I can hear. What's that?
So when you are thinking a thought and it takes time, can you say it's subject to laws of time? Like when I'm thinking about a triangle, it takes like.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that, like, for example, a thought is an action. It might be subject to time. So it's not that things can't belong to different categories, but I certainly know when I mix up categories and things aren't right. Does that make sense? As far as this category here, it's a category of questions. As you pointed out, the error is what we would call in logic complex question. Complex is two parts together, right? So what is you had rightly pointed out, there's actually two questions being presented as if they were one, and you have to answer yes or no as if it were one. And the two questions, have you ever cheated? And if so, have you stopped? Those are really the two questions presented. One, have you ever stopped? Have you stopped cheating on your exams? Have you stopped speeding or something? Did you stop speeding when you saw me? Yes, no. Okay. Do you see that? That would be a perfect complex cop. We're gonna actually have a new fallacy today, the complex cop question. Did you stop speeding when you saw me? But you took my class and be like, ha ha ha. Category error. That's a fallacy.
And then they.
That's and then they're like,
And then they're like, sir, I don't like you anymore. You're getting out of the car.
they shoot you.
It's like, sir, I'm gonna pull you over for speeding.
That's enough of your logic, Chuck.
That's crazy.
Strike you down. When logic. Okay. He has several examples of category mistakes, all of which are kind of funny. Did you find that they were funny, the illustrations? Why? Have you ever analyzed philosophically humor?
No.
Wait.
Humor, when you do, stops being funny. When you think about your... No. Kind of.
That was a really weird complex right there. You said, talk about something, looking at something philosophically for funny isn't funny, and then you start laughing at it.
Yeah, that's meta, huh?
That's a heavy thought, dude.
I'm so
It
confused.
started
now.
to not be funny, and then when I started thinking about my thinking about it, it became hilarious. That
was scary.
It's really creepy, huh? I would say this. There's a lot of things that can be off and wrong. Not the way that they should be. Are you out of here?
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good rest of your week.
You too. If you get it too off the way things shouldn't be, it ends up becoming tragedy, right? Now, you don't want your humor to be tragic. You want people to laugh and not cry. So you have to present it in a way, something's off about it. Typically, humor could revolve around equivocation. Somebody gave boomer dad jokes last class. Says, my boomer dad says, I'm trying to remember the joke now. Two people walk into a bar, and one falls down or something like that. I'm trying to remember. I'm like butchering. This happens every time. Do you know this joke?
They say ouch.
What's that?
People walk into.
Yes, two people walk into a bar.
and one
One
smacked his face.
Yeah, one ducked, and the other said "ouch," or the one that that didn't duck said "ouch." Now it's like, it's kind of funny. Why? Because there's equivocation on bar. The place you go to drink versus like a bar that you didn't duck and you hit your head on.
Could have ran into the mattress.
Do you see?
Yeah, it's really a bit.
And then I came up with a boomer dad joke the other day when I was watching TV and the Spectrum commercial came on. Do you remember this one? And I was thinking, I'm like, that's our cable TV, is Spectrum. And now I can finally say I'm on the spectrum.
That's crazy. That one.
Spectrum's a scary place to be, man.
What's that?
Spectrum's a scary place to be, man.
Yeah. Now, what's kind of funny about that is that I'm equivocating on there's something not right about it. But it's like you're pretending that word has only one meaning when it actually has two. Okay, so something's off. Now, something's kind of funny the way that we set up. I mean, when we're thinking about these examples of category errors, why is that funny? How fast does blue smell running on Tuesday? Because it's off, like it's weird. So comedy ends up being this kind of species of the absurd, right? You present, and you got to be delicate about it, because if you get, either it's going to fall flat, that it's, you get it so weird that it's just like, what? Or it becomes tragic. So there's sort of art to it, right? You got to present it just off enough that it makes you realize it's not how kind of really it is, but it kind of is, and you laugh. Okay, so a lot of these kind of have that same feel. Let's go through the first illustration, and he's talking about a university. And in case you don't know, he's referencing Oxford because he's a philosophy professor at Oxford. At what college? Magdalen. Now what, we don't have that, so we're gonna have to explain this. Oxford and Cambridge University, within the university has colleges, doesn't it? Different colleges. Magdalen being one among many. Everybody get that? And they might specialize, if they have different history, they specialize in different stuff. And then each college has different, let's say, departments. Does that make sense? Now, for our example, we could use our college and just ignore this kind of distinction, but somebody is a visitor. And I want to see your university or college, right? So in our case, we would use the college. Let's take a tour. So they come specifically to see the university or college. So you give them a tour. You show them the different buildings. There's building 1. And it's the administration building. Building 2. Why did building 2 fall? So, you don't get it? Yeah, got it. 9/11.
That's crazy.
I set them up, you knock them down, okay? Building 2 will be, what's that?
History is doomed to repeat itself.
They are sort of
That's crazy.
What? It's just a joke. Take it easy, guys. Building 2 will be this, I don't know, the science building. Okay. Building 3, the cafeteria. So you're giving a tour. Sports field, the rock wall. What's the? Oh, I skipped 3. 3, 4. What's the name of our building where the
stack.
is it the stack where the rock wall is?
Oh, the hack.
Oh, the hack.
The hack.
There's stack.
The cube, the hack.
That's really
The
bad.
president's office. Okay. Let's say we show the person everything in our college. All the buildings, all the different places. And they're totally confused. Well, I came here to see the college. Where was it? You didn't show me. You showed me the sports field. You showed me the hack. You showed me the science building, president's office, the admin building, the cafeteria. I'm still waiting to see the college. What's the problem?
They're stupid.
Yeah, you think the college is just another building or part among the parts. But it isn't. College or university is how all of these are connected and function together, correct? Last class I brought up that I thought about this with regards to the church. Because I've had arguments with people. First of all, I find this really bizarre. I don't know who these people are talking to come up with this. But I've had some people tell me the church isn't a building. It's like, what? Who are you talking to that's telling you that church is just a building? See that? That's just a church. There's nobody in it and it doesn't do anything. It's just a building. Who told you that? That you think that you have to actually respond and tell the world that the church is not a building? Has anybody heard this? Anybody say a church is not a building? So that's my first question. Who's telling you a church is just a building? A church has a building, right? Or it should. College isn't a building, but it has buildings. Maybe it could still function and exist for a little while without a building. I can see that, right? But come wintertime, that ain't gonna happen, right? Could we have the college function apart from buildings? Yeah, it's true. But it has to be implemented in something physical, right? So, okay.
Oh, I like
And normally it would operate in buildings. Could you? So, no, I don't have to think of college or a church as a building. Well, what is it? It's different groups function in different ways. And that's the key term. Each thing has a function, whether it's the university. We'll give an example that he uses, the division. It's a similar example. You take little Johnny down to the parade. Hey, Johnny, there's going to be a parade with a division marching by. Johnny's like, oh, wow, that'd be swell, Dad. I've never seen a division. Well, Johnny, today you are going to see a division. Division starts to march by, and there's the battalion. I feel like I'm channeling, what's the comedian? Norm Macdonald. Well, little Johnny's sitting here, and he's saying, Dad, I've never seen a division before. Well, here it is. It's walking by. There's the battalion, and there's what's the other part of the division that he mentions? The battery, right? And then there goes the division, and Johnny's all confused and saying, but I didn't see the division. What's the mistake? Well, to think after you name the division was just another part among the other things of the battery, etc. I can do the same thing with church. I had somebody tell me church is just a gathering. So the Greek word for church, ecclesia. Somebody look up ecclesia online right now. Give me the definition of it. I can't remember if it has two Ks, but E-K-L-E-S-S-I-A.
Assembly or gathering.
Assembly or gathering. Well, you see, the church is just an assembly of people. Really? Are they equal? Because you simply looked up the etymology. So a gathering of homicidal maniacs is church. Congratulations. You just lost. You lost the debate. A gathering of drunks. No. It is a gathering, but not just any gathering. It's like saying the government's not a building. I know it's not a building. They're not identical because then every building would be government. But governments have buildings. But what essentially defines that is how that group functions, how that's played out, that function, and all the different parts. Now, typically the people I was arguing with are anti-clerical. What does that mean?
Against the clergy.
Yeah. We don't need priests. Why? Because there's only one mediator between God and man. That's Christ Jesus, right? That's what typically. They're anti-hierarchical. That means there aren't priests, bishops, councils, synods. Everything's now equal. Why? Because you see, it's just a group. It's just a group of people and everybody's the same. How well would that work out in business, jobs, government, or the college or university? It wouldn't. So what do you have in every other aspect of life, whether it's college, university, military, hierarchy, specific roles? And what do you call that? Church, university, the division, government. It's how all those different parts that play different roles all work and function together. Does that make sense? That's why Gilbert Ryle is going to be called a functionalist. And so what he's going to actually say is that he's a materialist. He does not believe in an immaterial soul. And he thinks that people end up concluding in that. Why? Because they're looking around the physical brain. Brian. And they're like, oh, there's the hypothalamus, there's the cortex, cerebral cortex, there's the frontal lobe. I've yet to see the mind. Well, you can't see the mind. So what do they conclude? If I can't see the mind, then it's not physical and not part of the brain. It must be immaterial. He's going to say, no, you don't have to give up on your materialism. This is Gilbert Ryle, right? Again, what do we do in class? We build up the position as much, as good as possible. And then what's our favorite part in class?
Narrowing it down.
We can do a Kai the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker and smash, smash, smash. If you haven't seen that, look it up. We do that philosophically as systems, and it's our favorite part. But we can only do a good smash if we build it up well enough. And so we're going to build up Gilbert Ryle's materialism. What kind of materialism? It's a functionalism. So he's going to say, but you're thinking about it in the wrong way. You're doing a category error. That's what leads you to think that you have an immaterial soul or mind. But if I approach it like this, the mind is simply how all the parts function together. And of course, that function has to be implemented into some material, just like whether it's online or it's in these different buildings. It has to function. What's the essential part is the function. Implement the material. And so he's going to say, look, I'll identify this as a category error. You don't have to then, in light of that, become an immaterialist. You can be a materialist, etc. And we'll go into further examples of what the category error is, and then open up to a general conversation about philosophy of mind. Let's see, do we have any super chats, donations? We appreciate it. What do we have? 22 people. We had 30 at one time. Thank you, guys. I'll end the stream, and then make sure you're not signing in the wrong class, are you?
No, I made a new one.
All right. On the same page as the other class?
It's going
It's
the
on
other
the
direction.
bottom. Shall we go on the back, right?
Just go
Just go on the back.
on the back.
We're down. No, we have to-
All right, bye guys, everybody.
Yeah.